What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Axis of Combat podcast, episode 76. Today we're going to be covering UFC Vegas 100, and then we're going to cap it off with some boxing. Got a couple of fights lined up, but before we get into anything, it's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna, my co-host.
Hugo the boss. Hugo got next. You already know. Big special shout out to all my fellow Yankee fans out there. Oh, not my fellow Yankee fans. You guys are on your own with this one. You already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these visuals right now, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know, especially you, Yankee fans.
First fight on the card, at men's welterweight, we have Chuck Buffalo Charles Charlie Radtke going one-on-one with Semi the Jedi Matthew Semelsberger. Radtke 9-4, fighting out of Salem, Wisconsin, 34 years old. Semelsberger 11-7, fighting out of Frederick, Maryland, 31 years old. Banger of a fight, great way to kick off the card in my opinion. Two guys that kind of do the same thing, more or less. Two guys who also probably have the same level of IQ, more or less. Not a compliment, by the way. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I like Radtke here. I think he's going to be the one that's going to be able to push the grappling more here. He's a little more hungry. I do like, if I can bet knockdowns in this fight, I would. Defensively, they're both not really that great. And I think he probably gets this done. Third round of decision. I can see a knockout here. Give me Chuck Buffalo for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you on Radtke. After Semelsberger's Uros Medic and Preston Parsons fights, he's just on my permanent fate list at this point. I can't trust him with the grappling. I can't trust him with the cardio-laden fights. He's been finished predominantly in the third round, which is crazy. You know, like that's all his finishes are in the third round. And it's because of gas. And he can't stuff a takedown to save his life. I gotta go with the guy who's gonna push the wrestling, gonna push the grappling, I think it's probably more of the zombie too, to be frank, in this fight. And Semelsberger smells like a burger. So I'm not choosing the burger ass dude. I'm gonna choose the dude who I think is gonna outdog him and outwork him in this fight. Give me Charles Radtke here.
Next fight on the card at women's bantamweight, we have no mess Melissa Mullins, formerly known as Dixon, going one-on-one with the debuting Klaudia Syguła. Mullins, 6-1 overall, fighting out of England, hailing from England, 33 years old. Syguła, 6-1, fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland, 25 years old. Low-level fight, lowish level fight. I'm a little higher on Mullins than most people. I don't think she's that bad. I think she's tough. If she can get this fight to the ground, that's where she kind of really excels. Syguła, done some tape on her. Not really impressed with her striking. I think the one thing that kind of sticks out about her is that when she's on the ground, her jiu-jitsu, you know, she's flashed some submission potential. Is that going to work here? Is that going to help her here? I'm not too sure. I think I'm going to lean Mullins here only because she's got the UFC experience. I think she's fought the better brand of competition, even in the regionals. Syguła, not really impressed with the people she's fought. Give me Mullins here. Sub or decision is kind of where I'm leaning. I wouldn't be surprised if fight ends in sub is kind of live, but give me Mullins here for the win.
Yeah, I'm not high in either of these young ladies. I don't think Melissa Mullins, a.k.a. Melissa Dixon, I don't think she's good. You're a little higher in her than I am. A little higher. I know you're not extremely high in this girl.
No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I just think this is a fight you should stay away from just because it's very low level. But this line, from what I'm seeing, Syguła is opening up as a plus 195. I don't think Dixon should be a minus 200 against anybody in the UFC. I'm sorry. Anyone at any level. I just think she doesn't have the best fight IQ, doesn't have the best chin. She wants to get it one place, but then when you're getting packed up by Nora Cannoli, like it's just significant red flags because Nora Cannoli doesn't belong in the UFC either, in my opinion. But give me Melissa for all the reasons you mentioned, but don't be surprised if this line gets disrespectful to Syguła that I just play Syguła on a hunch because low-level women's MMA doesn't entail for large spreads on the money line between two fighters. What I'm trying to say is that the line should be lined closer. The fight should be lined closer. Give me Mullins, but obviously not with the highest degree of confidence via submission or decision.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Cortavious, Are You Not Entertained? Romious. Going one-on-one with the Dream Killer, Gaston Bolaños. Romious. 9-2 overall, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 30 years old. Bolaños. 7-4 overall, fighting out of Peru, 32 years old. This is essentially classic striker versus grappler. Romious, Cortavious. I think his first name is easier to say than his second name, or his last name. Cortavious, explosive, athletic.
Oh yeah.
Hits hard. His striking is a bit dog shit. I'm just gonna be completely honest. Gaston probably styles on him. He's got
head and toes better than him. Head and shoulders better than this dude.
Yeah, Gaston. If this fight stays standing, just styles on him. But I don't think this fight is gonna stay on the ground. I mean, stay standing. I think it's gonna end up on the ground. That's where Cortavious shines, in my opinion. Vicious ground and pound, top heavy game, and Gaston can't defend a takedown worth of shit, to be honest. I mean, he has gotten better since he's been in the UFC, but Cortavious is just so explosive and strong. I just see him taking him down to the ground. Give me Cortavious here, probably by stoppage. I'm gonna say KO, but I think he does win this fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I was gonna say Bolaños. He has all the experience as fought in Bellator. Very good, like elite level striker. To be honest, if this fight stays standing, he's gonna tune him up. But I have a hard time seeing that Cortavious is not gonna be able to get him to the floor in this fight. I feel like Bolaños' ground game is baloney, and it's just wild because he's gonna have the bigger dimensions here. But this guy is built like a fire hydrant, Romulus. So I'm gonna lean the grappler here, the wrestler. And against the striker who cannot defend the takedown, even though his get-up game has gotten a little better and his wrestling defense has gotten a little better. I just think there's levels to this shit, and I think that this guy is going to be able to get the fight down whenever he wants to because Gaston just likes to work behind his kicks, and he's going to get a kick caught and get thrown to the floor, or he's just going to get blast doubled to hell. Give me Cortavious here. Cortavious, right? I said Cortavious.
His name is crazy.
Romulus. Give me Romulus. Give me
Romious.
Give me Romious.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, Are You Not Entertained?
Give me Are You Not Entertained for the win here.
Next fight at men's bantamweight, we have the Spartan Cody Stamann going one-on-one with the monster Damon Blackshear. Stamann 21-7-1, fighting out of Sparta, Michigan, 35 years old. Blackshear 14-7-1, fighting out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, 30 years old. I'm going to cut straight to the point. I think I like Blackshear here. I think Damon Blackshear, if this fight stays standing, styles on him on the feet. I think he's the better striker.
Underrated striking, by the way.
I think Stamann's only way to win here is to take Blackshear down and just hold him down and just like kind of just grind him out, some jailhouse rock his ass. But I think Blackshear, even on the ground, wicked.
Filthy.
I think he's the bigger, stronger, more athletic guy here. Yeah, give me Blackshear ITD. I just think he's got more paths to victory here, and Stamann, again, unless he goes boring and just, has to wrestle, and Stamann doesn't really do that. He kind of wants to stand and bang as well. I think that's just going to get him into trouble here with Blackshear. Give me Blackshear here for the win. Yeah,
I'm with you on Blackshear. I think Blackshear has underrated striking. And as you mentioned, his ability to get to the back, like it needs to be studied. Like, he's very good at getting to the back.
He's very good.
Grappling's good. Striking's underrated. He's going to be the bigger, longer guy here. Yeah, he got caught in his last fight by Jackson, but Jackson could knock anybody out in this division because he got Brock Lesnar's hands on a 135-pound body. It happens. I think he's going to... I'm a little worried with him coming back too soon, but I think Blackshear is just younger, bigger. I think he's smart, too. I don't think he's a low IQ fighter. I think he feels good. I think he feels like he's ready to get back in there. I'm going to say it's either going to be sub or decision. I think so. I'll lean decision, but give me Blackshear just for the win. Just follow us on our social media platforms to see how we're going to bet him.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have a run back. We have Nicolas, the Danish Dynamite Dalby, going one-on-one with Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I think what's his nickname is Capoeira? It's Capoeira. Dalby, 23-5-1, fighting out of Denmark, hailing from Denmark, 39 years old. Zaleski, 24 8-1, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 37 years old. So like I mentioned, this is a run back, and it's a run back 10 years in the making because they both debuted in the UFC against each other. Close fight, could have went either way. Santos kind of edged them on just overall strikes landed, but not by that much. I think they kind of gave it to Dalby because he's, more willing to mix the martial arts in terms of like, he was throwing strikes, but then also cage pushing, grappling, just kind of putting it all on display. But, stylistically, both these guys really haven't evolved as much from when they first debuted. They both kind of just fight the same. Another close fight. Would I be surprised if Zaleski wins here? Not really. He might get it this time. He probably wants this one back. This is pure Dorgo pass. This is literally a 50-50 fight.
It's a pick 'em on the money line, so.
Give me Dalby. Not that much confidence, to be honest. Wouldn't be surprised if Zaleski won on volume. Split decision. In terms of a bet, maybe fight ends in majority or split. It's probably a very good bet.
I think I'm with you there on how you may or may not play it in terms of like the split or majority decision, because I feel like that's how close this fight's gonna be. This is probably one of the hardest fights on the card to pick. I don't see a finish happening in this fight, which is crazy because both of these guys are fucking durable. It's crazy because Dos Santos is probably the more skilled fighter, I'd say, but Dalby's just all dog, no breaks, so I just feel like this is a fight where they're both still durable, they're both still high level and underrated guys in the division. I feel like I'm going to lean Dalby, but man, not with a high degree of confidence, because this is a fight where I could see Dos Santos just getting the nod because he just lands better shit. Rematches are a thing, and like they're going to see what they did wrong in the first fight, and they haven't changed their styles too much. So I expect it to be a war. So I think it's going to be a split decision as well. I think that's how probably I'm going to look at it, especially if the line is juicy, and I'll leave it be. But this is a hard fight to cap. It's probably a better live bet spot to see, like if Dalby's a plus 400 heading into the third round, play him, because
value is always going to be on the dog on either side of this fight, because it is going to be close. So and
the thing is, they're both durable, but they can probably both get stopped because of father time in this fight, just by the other guy's striking ability and volume and pressure. So I think if anyone's plus 400 heading into the third round, take a good look at the other opponent, see if he's breathing hard, and then make a play. So and that's where I'm at with this, but. Give me Dalby for the slight edge, but man, I'm not confident in this at all.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have a debuting Mansur Abdul-Malik going one-on-one with Thunder Duško Todorović. Abdul-Malik is perfect. 6-0, fighting out of Columbia, Maryland, 27 years old. Duško, 12-4 overall, fighting out of Serbia, hailing from Serbia, 30 years old. Mansur making his debut here, still not extremely, but he's definitely kind of raw. He's only 6-0, but literally has mowed through the competition.
Yeah, he's a finisher.
Looked impressive on the Contender Series. This guy hits hard. He's athletic. His whole game plan is basically to push you, grab you, drag you down to the ground, and fuck you up. I feel like this is a bit of a setup for Mansur here. I think Mansur wins this inside the distance. I think he wins it via KO. Duško's just,
he's too hittable, man.
A little chinny, easy to take down, in my opinion. This is pretty much a setup fight for Mansur. So just give me Mansur, ITD, maybe first, second round. I think that's how this fight kind of plays out.
I'm there with you. I can't trust Duško's defense. I think he's like the ultimate mush play. He's a guy that will be up 1 or 2 rounds on the card and then just give it away.
I mean, listen.
He's done it before, if I'm correct, at this level. So
all you need to know is that the Beverly Hills Ninja was able to take this man down 3 times.
Yeah.
Now, he did lose that fight, but he was able to take him down 3 times. Mansur should have no problem getting this to the ground.
I agree. And he's fumbled the bag after being up and executing a good game plan against another fights at this level. Yeah. He's just a hard guy to trust, and not the best chin. He took a walloping from Gregory Rodriguez. I feel like that just altered his career. RoboCop just, dead or alive, you're coming with me,
Yeah, he put it on him, boy.
Yeah, it's he's just not a guy you can trust with your money. He's a guy that he can do very well in the first couple of minutes of the fight, and if he doesn't get the guy out of there, like, you're going to be sweating for the next 12 to 13 minutes, just like, holy shit, is he going to fumble this for me again? Yeah, man, it's Mansur by a mile, in my opinion. I think he knocks him out, but ITD is definitely the play here.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Tresean Gore going 1-on-1 with Antonio Trócoli. Mr. Vicious Gore is 4-2, fighting out of South Carolina, 30 years old. Antonio Trócoli, Malvado. That's how you say it. Bam. Nailed it. 12-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 33 years old. Bit of a low-level fight here, in my opinion. I don't think Tresean Gore is as bad as
advertised.
His last fight, even though it was against Josh Fremd, showed that he can and is willing to go to wrestling and grappling. Explosive, athletic, hits hard. The chin is the only thing that's a little bit questionable. He does fight for the finish. That guillotine he put on Fremd was fucking wicked. Trócoli, I'm not going to take too much away from his last fight against Shara. I mean, he made 2 different weight cuts, I think, within a week.
And he's
within actually a couple days.
And he's huge.
He was supposed to fight Elizeu, ended up fighting Shara Bullet. Trócoli, I think in his Contender Series fight, looked pretty good. The play that I like for this fight is fight ends in sub, believe it or not, because I think Trócoli's decent on the ground. I can see on both sides a club and sub situation, but in terms of a pick, I'm going to lean Trócoli here. He's just the bigger, longer dude. He hits hard. I think this is the UFC kind of saying, hey man, I know we kind of put you in the spot. We're going to,
take care of you a little bit.
Now, Gore ain't the guy to kind of sleep on either, but I think Gore is going to have a hard time initially trying to get in on Trócoli. He's going to be the smaller guy here. Give me Trócoli here. Not that much confidence. And I think this fight ends in sub is probably the better way to play it if you're going to bet it.
Yeah, I think fight ends in sub is the way to play this. Trócoli, I'm with you on the lean as a dog here, but I'm not with a high degree of confidence. Don't even know if I'm going to play it, to be frank, because this is a fight for Trócoli to kind of prove to everybody whether or not he is in the UFC because of his skill, or is he in the UFC just because he's dating Mackenzie Dern? And I don't mean to be that way, but it's the truth. I'm just going to call it what it is. He just hasn't looked great in his last couple performances. I'll write off the Shara Bullet one too. He looked like shit walking into that cage. He looked like shit while the fight was happening. Dude, that's 2 different weight cuts, man. And for people who don't understand what weight cutting is, it's a very difficult thing to overcome at times, especially at his size. He's 6'5" for middleweight.
And he made weight both times too.
Yeah, he's a professional.
He kept the professionals.
He's going to make weight, which we know. He's huge for the weight class. He's got an 80-inch reach. He should have, I believe, probably close to somewhat of the same grappling game as Gore. Gore is the better wrestler, I would say, which is what scares me a little bit. But Trócoli should be able to find a submission. Gore should also probably be able to find a submission.
I agree.
Gore hits very hard, though, too, and Trócoli not the best chin. That's why this fight scares me a little bit, like in terms of even leaning him. But give me Trócoli just because of all the physical attributes, but don't have a lot of confidence in it and don't know if I'm going to play. Doubt I'm going to play, to be honest, but give me Trócoli.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the legend, the gatekeeper himself, Gerald Meerschaert, GM3, going 1-on-1 with the debuting former 2-time double champ in middleweight and in light heavyweight from one championship, Reinier de Ridder, the Dutch Knight. That sounds crazy.
That's a great nickname.
GM3, 37-17, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 36 years old. Ridder, 17-2, fighting out of the Netherlands, 34 years old. So like I mentioned, Ridder making his debut here, coming straight out of one. How good is Ridder? I think he's good. I don't think he's great. If I'm gonna keep it a bit of a buck here. He's pretty much Paul Craig, but he can shoot the takedown. He knows how to complete a takedown.
Correct.
Essentially, he's very good on the ground. His submission game is essentially, I don't want to say lights out, but he's super crafty and super wicked on the ground.
Fight ends in sub for this fight, for sure, by the way.
100%. GM3, obviously, that's his game.
Third round guillotine.
He
or his second round guillotine.
GM3, the 3 stands for third round.
Yeah.
That's the way you want to play him if you're going to play the Gerald Meerschaert fight. This is not the easiest debut for Ridder, but it kind of is at the same time. He doesn't have to worry about any kind of striking from the GM3 side. He's on the older side. He throws a bit slower. I can see this fight going all 15 because of all the wrestling and grappling, but give me Ridder here. even though Ritter is 34 as well, I think he wins this fight. I think he probably gets the sub on GM3. In terms of his future prospects, I don't know how far he can get into this division without the striking. I think his striking is 2 steps away from dog shit. But Ritter's good. You know, give me Ritter here for the win. I think he gets it done. I think he gets the sub on GM3.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Ritter just because of the double champ status. Just because I know one doesn't have the low end competition on any level, to be frank. But I tell you what, GM3 at plus 230.
I don't hate it.
There's possible dog play here for me because I just feel like if you're gonna play into GM3's strength, I feel like there's very good possibility that you're gonna get guillotined.
And the thing about Ritter too is that he'll when he goes for his takedowns, I feel like they're a little reckless. One of his fights I was watching, he got insta guillotined.
Yeah,
but he didn't get subbed. But
it was tight.
He just left his neck out there, and GM3 is not the kind of dude you want to really do that with. So
I agree. And this is one of those fights where it's just it's his UFC debut against a guy who in GM3 who I think his boxing has gotten a little better as he's gotten older. It's pretty crazy. His hands have gotten better. He lands decent overhands, knows how to kind of work behind the jab a little better. It's all part of the new camp that he's with. I'm gonna lean Ritter, but I'm just pure respect and pure what the fight plan's gonna be. With the wrestling, I just feel like you got to play GM3 in the spot. I feel like he might have Ritter shooting just because of the boxing. And I do feel like Ritter, as you mentioned, is susceptible to guillotine. So I might play GM3 by sub on principle. So that's where I'm at.
Next fight at women's strawweight, we have Karolina Kowalkiewicz going one-on-one with Denise Gomes. Kowalkiewicz, 16-8, fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland. 39 years old. Denise Gomes, 9-3, fighting out of Vegas, repping Brazil. I said 9-3, Roy. Yeah. 9-3, 24 years old. I don't want to take anything away from, Kowalkiewicz, former title contender. I think she's got a win over Naman Yunus, fought Joanna twice. I think once as a UFC fighter and once as an amateur, if I'm not mistaken. I don't recall, but I feel like she's been, even at her age right now, still kind of evolving her game. She was on a 4 or 5 losing streak at one point. Was able to turn around to 4 wins in a row.
Correct.
Lost her last fight. Who was her last fight? I don't recall.
Lucindo.
Lucindo. Okay, yeah. Denise Gomes. I don't want to say, because I think it's a little disrespectful, I don't want to say Dollar Tree Andrade, but I mean, she's pretty much got Andrade-like qualities, kind of similar styles, hard-nosed, tough, throws hard, throws with conviction. I think I'm going to lean Gomes here. She's the younger fighter. She's going to be the more explosive fighter. As long as she can stop Karolina's takedowns, which is probably what's going to get Denise into a lot of trouble here, I think she wins this fight. Fight probably should be closer than what it is lined currently.
Agreed.
But I am gonna lean Gomes here. I can see an early finish, but if she doesn't finish her early, I can see a decision win. Give me Gomes.
Yeah, I'm with you on Gomes for all the reasons you listed. I just don't agree with the line too much because I just think that there is a path to victory here for Karolina, especially if she can get her down and get into that deep half guard that she likes to get into with a lot of her opponents. If she gets there and she can control on the floor, I think this fight gets very interesting. The problem is I think Denise Gomes is a fucking gorilla. I think Karolina, the way she's been able to control her last 4 opponents on the floor, she's going to have a very hard time controlling Denise Gomes for large portions of this fight. Plus the youth advantage. Karolina's actually going to be an inch taller and an inch longer, but you want the real. Most of Jessica Andrade's opponents are the same way, and she's still able to clip them. I feel like Denise Gomes, this is her fight to lose, to be frank. It is. And that's exactly why I'm leaning her. But if this line gets a little more crazy, like it gets to plus 400, I'll definitely make a dog play on Karolina.
Karolina is definitely she's got some paths here, depending on how the fight plays out. But
it's Gomes' fight to lose, 100%. I think she either KOs her or she goes to decision. That's where I think this goes. But I think it's a KO early or decision late. Give me Gomes here regardless.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Ricky Tercios going one-on-one with Bernardo the Lion King. Oof. Sopai. Not a fan of that nickname. A little corny. Tercios, 12-4 overall, fighting out of Houston, Texas, 31 years old. Sopai, 11-3 overall, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, 24 years old. Last time we seen Sopai, he was at the unfortunate end of what is probably going to be considered the KO of the year.
Or one of them at least, because Max.
Or at least one of, I don't know,
Max knocked out Gaethje.
The way Sopai got put out by
it was nasty.
By Loke Dog.
Yeah.
Whew, wicked. And that happened in February this year. That felt like a century ago almost.
I feel like this is you get knocked out the way he did, you probably shouldn't be fighting right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
In my honest opinion, he probably should wait until at least next February.
Minimum.
But, hey, if he feels good, he's still young. He's 24 years old. I don't think he's got to worry about any kind of power in terms of like his opponent. Ricky Tercios, decent volume striker, not really the most powerful striker. I mean, Tercios is high energy, squirmy on the ground. His last fight actually with Raul Rosas actually was able to take Rosas' back and put him in compromising positions as well. In terms of who I think is going to win this fight, I think give me Sopai here. I think Sopai
is a rebound fight for him, low-key, in my opinion.
A bit of a rebound fight, yet I don't disagree. I think he's the better striker here. I think he's going to be able to take Tercios down. And, the thing about Tercios is like he's squirmy. He's hard to submit. Sopai, I don't think is going to be looking for any kind of submission here. I think when Sopai takes him down, he's going to end up just ground and pounding the shit out of him. Give me Sopai here. I think he does win this fight. Does he finish Tercios? Maybe. I'll say third round decision. Do I hate fight ends in sub? Because Tercios can get to the back. He is kind of explosive and squirmy. I don't hate that either. But I'm leaning Sopai here. Give me Sopai for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like this is a rebound fight for Sopai. I think Vinicius Oliveira, if I'm correct, he took that fight on short notice.
I don't recall the status of that fight.
Yeah, I question whether or not Bernardo's gas is as bad as it looked in that fight, because he just completely fell off a cliff, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that took it on short notice.
I think you're right. And also, he kind of unloaded on Vinicius early, which kind of also didn't help his gas tank situation.
Yeah, Vinicius is a future fade, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on this podcast, just so you know.
I don't know. I used to think that, but I'm not too sure.
Well, Ricky Simón didn't wrestle him.
That's true.
So, if he goes in
maybe
there...
maybe he couldn't wrestle him.
Stop it. He got him down with ease with the first real takedown he got. But regardless, I feel like this is a rebound fight for Bernardo. I feel like Tercios is the perfect opponent for his brain health as well as his damage health, to be frank, in general. I don't think Tercios is going to put a ton on him. I think Tercios is a volume puncher, not really a big puncher. I think Bernardo probably gets this done, but I don't know how. I think it's going to go to the decision because Tercios is hard to kill, like Steven Seagal.
Bars.
But we'll see how I play it as the line gets, as the fight gets closer in the week. Give me Bernardo. Give me Bernardo here, straight.
Next fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Luana Pinheiro going one-on-one with the Savage Jillian Robertson. Pinheiro, 11-3 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Robertson, 14-8 overall, fighting out of Canada. Actually, no, fighting out of Florida, but repping Canada, 29 years old. This is a Robertson fight, in my opinion. Ever since Robertson has made the cut down to strawweight, kind of on a tear. It's been a really good decision. She's got
Dean Thomas
in her corner, like strategically matchmaking her.
Absolutely.
And I know I got a weird feeling this is another Dean Thomas special. They kind of circled Pinheiro on the potential opponent list, and I know why. I think on the feet, Pinheiro, especially early, can give Robertson some trouble. The issue with Pinheiro is two things. One, she burns like a candle on both ends. Explosive in the beginning, decent striking, but she will tire. Two, relies a little too much on that judo head and arm toss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Robertson wins by sub here. I think Robertson wins here. I think she rolls. I think she wins by sub. As long as she doesn't get caught in the feet, because Robertson, even though her boxing has gotten better, it's not that good still. But I think this is an easy Robertson win, in my opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have found a possible max bet opportunity here. Pinheiro, good for 1 round.
A round and a half, I think.
No.
Depending on how she's pushing it.
She got mounted guillotine by Angela Hill. It's over.
Oh, I forgot
it's
about
all
that.
over.
Yeah, she did. She
It's all
gave
over.
Angela her first sub win.
It's all over.
And Angela's listen.
She's
Not to
gotten
take away
way
from Angela.
better. She's gotten way better.
Yep.
But she's not a grappler. She's not. Pinheiro's the black belt here.
Robinson is the grappler.
She's the real black belt.
She's the real wrestler.
She's going to have the gas tank. She's the better wrestler. Pinheiro is on a 4-fight losing streak?
Is it 3?
3.
Okay.
She should be on a 4 because she lost to Michelle Waterson too. She did. She lost that fight. It was clear, like it was highway fucking robbery.
She did.
This is a possible max bet on the money line. This is a max bet on rounds 2 and 3. Not even max bet, just a play on rounds 2 and 3 sub. I just feel like she's going to get tired and she's going to break her down. I mean, what she did, how she handled Michelle Waterson striking, and I know Michelle's a little over the hill.
But she's a better
striker.
More dynamic striker.
She has way more weapons than Pinheiro.
Pinheiro might hit harder, but that's about it. Yeah.
I just feel like this is a possible max bet spot, even at minus 240. And get ready because I might do it. If not max bet, at least 2 to 3 units. And I'm gonna play her sub as well. This is the spots. These are the spots where you look at minus 240, and you're like, damn, I could possibly make some money here. So beware. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me and my brother on Twitter. We might make the decision sooner than later and release it way before the fight day, before this line gets out of control. So Jillian Robertson, you already fucking know. And by the way, she's probably going to be, in my opinion, the pack 'em up person of the week.
Been packing them up.
So head with the Javante.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight and is currently constituted the co-main event. We have Cody No Love Garbrandt going 1-on-1 with Miles Chapo Johns. Garbrandt 14-6, fighting out of Sacramento, California, 33 years old. Chapo Johns 15-2 overall, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 30 years old. This fight is essentially, in my opinion, like a mirror match. Skill-wise, I feel like it's a bit of a mirror match. I mean, they're both good wrestlers. They're both decent boxers. I think one's better than the other. I'm going to be leaning Garbrandt here. Couple reasons. I mean, strength of schedule. I mean, he's fought the who's who. He's a little older, but I still think in terms of the striking in particular, he's going to have the speed advantage. He's got better footwork than Johns. Garbrandt still hits hard, still has wrestling in his pocket, and he might be forced to whip it out here on pause going against Miles Johns, because Johns, typical boxer wrestler prototype, swings hard, haymakers, wants to take you down, push you against the cage. Give me Garbrandt only because of experience, and I think he's going to be quicker with the hands. And I'm not too worried about him in the grappling department. So
yeah, I'm with you, because Miles Johns is not like the best grappler. He's more of just a power shooter, like a Greco-Roman type wrestler. I think the open mat wrestling belongs to Cody Garbrandt. I think Cody Garbrandt's got the faster hands. And Miles Johns, I can't remember a Miles Johns fight where he's typically fighting off of his front foot. He kind of likes to take a back step in all of his fights. And I feel like if you give someone like Cody space to operate like that, he's just going to land on you unless Miles Johns is able to effectively counterpunch him. These days, though, Cody Garbrandt is taking much more of a measured approach in terms of managing the distance. This fight could be boring.
I think this fight will be boring.
Yeah. But what I will say is the finishing upside's on the Cody. The damage upside, I think, is more on the Cody side. But what I will say is I think that Cody is, he's just a better fighter, in my opinion. This is a fight that's kind of tailored for him. A guy that's low volume, is not going to pressure him. He can operate in space. The only thing I don't trust about Cody is his chin, which is why he's not going to be more than a 1 or 2 unit play here. But I feel like Cody, this is fucking Cody's fight to lose here, man. And at dog money, give me Cody Garbrandt.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight and as currently constituted the main event of the evening, we have the Haitian sensation Neil Magny going 1-on-1 with the Nightmare Carlos Prates. Magny 29-12, fighting out of Dalton, Illinois, 37 years old. The Nightmare Prates 20-6, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 31 years old. Interesting fight, 5-round fight. Magny, the ultimate gatekeeper. Prates, the potential rising superstar here, fighting out of the Fighting Nerds. Those guys have been a bit unstoppable. Like, those guys don't know how to lose over there. You know what I'm saying? Prates, I'm not really high on his his overall fight game in terms of like, I don't think he's that good defensively.
He's filthy striking, though. Offensively, he's a fucking menace.
Offensively, he's just a different story, though.
Correct.
He hits hard. His striking is clean. Magny here, the gatekeeper, like I mentioned before, is going to put him to the test. This is probably going to be the most grappling heavy opponent that Prates has faced. I'm going to lean Prates here only because I don't know if Magny is going to finish Prates, and that's what scares me. I just think offensively, the kid's dynamic. He's on the rise, and it's just a pure gut feeling because on paper, probably not the best stylistic matchup for him. We haven't really seen Prates on the ground either. So Magny, don't hate him as a dog. I'm assuming he's a dog.
Huge dog.
But that being said, Prates is going to be my pick. Semi-confident in that, but he's got to get past Magny to really prove whether he's, got some weight in this division.
I'm with you on the lean for Prates. I just cannot get around this money line. Magny's a plus 435, which...
Yeah, that's a little nuts.
For a guy, Prates never been 5 rounds to my recollection. Neil Magny's only lost to in his last 4 fights, Shavkat Rakhmonov, which went to the second round, Gilbert Burns, Ian Machado Gary, Mike Morales. Not high in Ian Machado Gary, but he is a top 5 welterweight right now. All those guys are top 5 welterweights, except for Michael Morales, who might beat all of them. That's his potential. It's just Morales has a physicality to him that I think people underrate, and his wrestling is very good. Is Prates as physical as Mike Morales? No. Is he more skilled on the feet offensively than Mike Morales? Yes. I just feel like Magny, the ultimate professional, this is probably going to be the biggest guy that Prates has fought. This is a guy who knows how to manage distance by using and grabbing wrist. Prates is a slow starter typically in his fights, doesn't really go for the kill, so I expect him to drop the first round. And Magny, who is very good at getting to your back against the cage. I feel like Magny's a fucking system play in this fight, man.
Especially sitting around plus 400.
400?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? I'm not sure Prates has fought anyone like this guy. And it's going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a Mike Malott exposing, but I do feel like there is potential for that kind of exposing to happen in this fight, especially late second to third round when Magny's just riding you, pause, and just,
And he's got endless cardio.
Endless cardio. He's lankier. He's bigger. Besides the striking offense, where does Prates have Magny beat here? Durability, maybe? I'll give him durability.
Maybe.
I got Magny at plus 435 system play. Give me Prates for the lean because he should get this done, but give me Magny as a live dog as it gets. I think Magny could definitely win this fight. He has way more paths to victory here. Give me Prates as the lean, Magny as, I'll go on the record as the bet.
And that does it for UFC Vegas 100, but we still got some boxing to break down. So without further ado.
Well, this week we have an ESPN Plus card that's headlined by Keyshawn Davis and Gustavo Lemos. Keyshawn Davis, if you haven't heard, you're about to know. He's a very good fighter, young prospect coming up, 25 years old, fighting out of Norfolk, Virginia, which is where the fight card's taking place. So I don't expect any of the judges to be favoring Gustavo in any way, shape, or form in this fight.
The crowd will be in full effect, I think.
Yes, this should be a very interesting fight and entertaining fight because Gustavo Lemos is a marauder, walks forward, a lot of pressure, not the most volume, which is why I think Keyshawn can get him. But I think Keyshawn should be able to get this fight done by decision. However, a late stoppage I would not rule out. I want to give you guys a better pick as it gets closer to fight time. But Gustavo is built like a fire hydrant. He's 5'5", walks forward very tight with his high guard, knows how to walk you down, not take a ton of damage. However, in his last fight against Richardson Hitchens, which by the way, you can argue he won, Richardson was able to find moments where he stung him. If Richard's stinging you, Keyshawn has more than enough possibilities to sting you as well, which is why I will not rule out a late stoppage here. However, Gustavo has only one loss. It is to Richardson Hitchens. He's more experienced. He hits harder, in my opinion. He's very compact. It's very to punch in between his punches because he throws all his punches very tight. Give me Keyshawn Davis by decision here. Would not rule out a late stoppage. Gustavo is a fucking dog. Keyshawn, I think, will have more moments and will be able to outbox him. Give me Keyshawn Davis by decision.
Top Rank isn't the only promotion that's got some boxing going on. We also got some Matchroom boxing on the zone. We got Boots Ennis in a rematch, but I let my brother break that one down as well.
We're going to be talking about 3 fights in this card, along with the Norfolk, Virginia card, which is on Friday, by the way. This card in Philadelphia from the zone is Saturday. It's headlined by Jaron Ennis and Karen Trócoli. I do not want to pronounce his name, so I'm going to say Karen going forward. We'll start with the feature fight on this card. It's Raymond Ford versus Orlando Gonzalez. Like the Keyshawn Davis Lemos card, Orlando Gonzalez, like Lemos, has never been stopped in a fight. However, this is the best competition they have fought. And late in the fight, Orlando Gonzalez does fade. I do worry about that with Raymond Ford because Raymond Ford does have decent power. Raymond Ford coming off a loss in his last fight against Nick Ball. I thought Ray won the fight. It was very close, so I'm not mad at people who wanted to swing it to Nick Ball. Before that, he had a knockout of the year. Well, not even a knockout, like a comeback of the year win against Otterbeck, who is a vicious puncher, was able to not only ride that fight and keep it close, but then stop him with the final seconds on the clock. So Ray does have the power and the precision to get you out of there late. This is a step down in competition from both of those guys, even though Orlando is Boricua, which I do want to hold it down for him. The thing is, they kind of fight the same way. I think this is a stylistic mirror match where Orlando is kind of a counter boxer like Ray Ford. I just trust Ray Ford's ability to pressure fight and defensively box better than Orlando. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be more experienced. He is going to be the championship fighter, and he is younger, which is crazy. I got to lean Ray here, even though Orlando is a good counterpuncher early. Well, in general, I got Ray Ford by decision here, but don't be surprised if I play him to win this fight late and stop him late, because I do think there's a degree of competition variance between Nick Ball and Otterbeck to Orlando. With that said, I'm going to go Ray Ford by decision, but like the Keyshawn Davis fight, don't be surprised if that line from like 9 to 12 is juicy, because then I will definitely lay and sprinkle a little bit on both of them for this weekend to get a stoppage late. But for both him and Keyshawn Davis, I like the decision.
All right, and without further ado, we got a co-main featuring Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Talk about that one.
This is a fight, I think, a stay busy fight for Bam. Pedro Guevara, he is a very seasoned fighter. He's 35 years old. He has a lot of fighting experience. He's never been stopped. The thing is, I question his level of competition. I question where he's at mentally at this point in his career. I think he's always game to fight. The thing is, I don't like his hand speed. He is not the most defensively responsible fighter, has been dropped in multiple fights. Jesse Bam Rodriguez just stopped fucking Estrada in a fight of the year candidate, which I think it probably was fight of the year for boxing, because the back and forth, the ebbs and flows. Bam got dropped in that fight, then came back and stopped him, which is fucking insane. Estrada, one of the best fighters of this generation, did have a 2-year layoff, so I will give Estrada a little bit of an excuse. They were supposed to run it back. Estrada opted out of the run back. Now we have Pedro Guevara. I just feel like Bam is the next generation of fighter. He is a slick counterpuncher, very defensively responsible with power. And he's in one of these lower weight classes that consistently gets overlooked. I feel like this is Bam's fight to lose. I think Bam's going to get him out of there. It might be early, it might be late, because this guy is susceptible to the body and the head. He gets hit a lot. Give me Bam to get it done. ITD. Don't know how I'm going to cap it with the rounds. I'm going to say mid to I would say like rounds 3 to 8. But we got to see what the lines look like and to see if this is even playable. But I like Bam to get him out of there. I think he packs him up, to be frank. And I will give him the honorary Gervonta Davis voice over here, because
they would have been packing him up.
I think this is the pack up of the weekend, to be frank. I think this is a complete mismatch. I think Guevara's going to get run over here. Give me Bam by knockout.
And without further ado, we can just get right into this Boot Ennis rematch, it turns out to be.
Yeah, we've got a rematch here with Boots Ennis going against Karen. I don't want to pronounce his last name, so please bear with me. His first name is Karen. I don't know particularly why this fight's getting remade. I think it's just because of IBF, and IBF has a weird thing with their mandatories. Karen has been on a 3-fight win streak. This is kind of the fight that Boots needs to have just to keep his belt, which is a little annoying because I don't think this guy should be getting a rematch because I didn't think the first fight was competitive. I think Karen has very good lateral movement, very good off his back foot, decent counter puncher, will beat a lot of guys. I just think this is the worst stylistic matchup for him because it's Boots who can outbox him, fight from both stances, very good chin, can take a shot, does know how to cut off the ring, also knows how to fight off his back foot in case he's getting pressured. Boots is the guy at welterweight right now, and especially since Terrence Crawford left. And I feel like Karen, what adjustments can he make in this fight that's going to change the result of it? I think this fight's probably going to go to decision, but I want to give a little bit more thought into this because I feel like there is capability of Jaron packing him up in this fight. And I say that because when you have that much ring experience with somebody, you learned a couple of things. You see what you did wrong. And there were instances in the first fight where Jaron had him hurt. With that said, I'm going to lean Boots. You know what? Fuck it. Give me by knockout. I think he's going to find the body, and I think he's going to stop him in this fight just because of the ring experience. Jaron, this is one of the few people that has gone to the distance with him. I think Jaron Ennis is going to want to right that wrong. I think he's probably going to stop him. I'm going to say mid to late rounds. I'll say 7-12. Gets him out of there. Give me Jaron Ennis by knockout. Not with the highest degree of confidence, but I'm going to say knockout just because of the ring experience, Jaron's power, and Jaron is going to see what he did wrong in the first fight and make adjustments. I feel like Ennis is a very high IQ fighter. I think he knocks him out. Give me 7-12. Don't be surprised if I switch this pick to decision later in the week. I'm just going to be honest with you because Karen is very good defensively and does know how to angle out of corners and use his feet to get out of bad positions. But I feel like Ennis is going to figure him out and right this wrong, especially since he wants to make a statement in this welterweight weight class. Give me Jaron Ennis by knockout.
And that's all we got, ladies and gentlemen. We mixed some martial arts and we fisted some cuffs. Pause.
Oh my goodness.
But without further ado, my brother, just take us home.
You already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these visuals right now. Don't forget to like. That really helps the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe. That really helps our counts. Don't forget to leave a comment. We want to engage. And hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Episode 76 in the books. Yankee fans, you are welcome. I know you hate me right now with this LA fit. You hate my brother with that New York Mets fit, even though we would have both whipped your ass in the World Series.
Light.
One of us did. The other one would if it got there. Love you guys. You guys are welcome too. Holla at you. Episode 76 in the books. See you next week. Big fights next week. Holla at you. Later.